Why? There. Ugh, good lord. Hello, everyone.
And then I was like, well, I didn't mean to be standoffish.
Yeah.
Fish? It's a fish pun?
This is the evening we're going to be having. The Domlins are strong again today.
Samlins.
I'm sorry.
Salmons.
Salmons?
Minnows.
Elise is gonna die.
I'll hang in there.
Sorry, I just
We'll
like
see.
seeing
We'll
Lena
see.
in the chat and the fish puns. All right, everyone. Good evening, and welcome to Helpful Goat Presents Tyr Moontree. I am the unbenevolent dictator of Helpful Goat Gaming, Galway Trainer, and tonight my friends and I are going to build and explore a magical world, or in the case of Tyr, not so magical. I am, as I mentioned, the DM, so I am not the star of this evening's proceedings. Those wonderful people are beneath me in the camera feeds, and I will arrange them in said order. Joining us is the half-burned cowman Nero, Rachel.
Hi. I'm paying attention.
Laughing her ass off, Chris playing the Tabaxi Fighter Catch.
Hey, everyone.
Waiting so that she can finish that large drink of water, Elise playing the human rogue Minnow Rowe.
Hello.
The best suit of armor with feelings. Am I talking about his character Dent or about him himself? Sam.
Hello.
And playing the occasional voice of reason, occasionally, hey, let's throw the horse inside the weird time disappearing temple, Heather playing Ressa.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining us this evening. We are here basically every week. We are Helpful Goat Gaming, a small independent game design and gameplay and game content community. We stream here on Twitch at Helpful Goat. Smash. Wait. Okay. God. Gee, oh my God. Sorry. Chat is just already.
Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Just pay no attention to the chat behind the curtain.
Okay. I'm just gonna point out that Rachel and then Chris telling me not to look at chat does not reassure me or make me want to not look at chat. We stream a lot of tabletop RPG content. On Tuesdays, we do Goat's Eye View, where we talk about DMing, GMing, playing, communication at the table with various guests. It's a very good time. On Wednesday, we have been playing Dom and Dragons, which is D&D with Dominic Monaghan. The finale for the current arc of that will be this coming Wednesday. I was about to say next Wednesday, and like that's a cursed term where we are. Some people will think that's in 2 weeks. That should be a good time. We are going to kill Santa Claus, kinda, not really, sorta, though. A little hard to tell. On Thursdays, we generally play Spire, though I don't think you are next week. Is that correct?
No,
Elise?
we are not playing
Okay.
next week, which was the scheduled week off instead of the surprise week off, which was this week.
Yes. But that is a wonderful tale of... Theoretically, the storyline would be Drow resisting the oppression of the High Elves, but honestly, it's mostly about seeing how many ways the party can split itself. And avoid having Elise kill them. I don't mean the characters, I mean the actual players. And then on Fridays, we vary between two main sets of programming. Helpful Goat Presents, which is usually a tier program, such as this one, and our main level 1 to level 20 homebrew campaign, which is Goats and Dragons, The Fates of Rin, though that's on mid-season break right now. And I believe next week we will have Andy, the DM of that, will be DMing a two-shot of a different system called Misspent EU. So that should be a lot of fun. Looking forward to getting to watch that. Before we get into the proceedings...
I'm fucking muted again. So I wasn't meaning to interrupt you because I was talking, but then I wasn't pressing push to talk. Anyway, continue. It's fine.
Okay. Before we get into the business of recapping and getting into the story itself, a couple of quick words. We here at Helpful Goat stand in solidarity with the Black Lives Matter movement and also the victims of harassment and assault from Twitch streamers. Our we're not here right now screen right now is the Twitch terms of service, encouraging Twitch to discipline its streamers regardless of their size or amount of money it brings in for the platform, in order to protect people and make this a platform that people feel safe being on. We also have a variety of resources if you use the !BLM or !donate commands in chat, both of which lead you to resources that provide you opportunities, whether through financial donation, donation of your time, or just other ways to get involved to advance the cause of racial justice in America. Both of these are immensely important topics. We encourage you to take time, take the energy, spend the effort to educate yourself and to actively engage in allyship for both of these causes, which are extremely important. And we thank you for that. One other announcement, which isn't really an announcement, but is just something that needed to be shared with the world. Yesterday was my birthday, and Sam down there didn't get me, but made me a little macaque tumble down.
God, it's so
so
cute.
cute.
That is so awesome.
Flower
That is
crown is
fucking
just
adorable.
so good.
Flower crown is the greatest thing I have ever seen. I am terrified that I'm going to drop him, so I'm putting him gently back down right now, moving him past my mouse cord. He is tucked safely back in my desk so that my cats cannot destroy it. But thank you so much for that, Sam. That was a lot of fun.
Of course, I was just terrified that, like, at some point along the journey from Baltimore to Colorado, their Boulder, that it would just shatter and I would cry.
I am really amazed that it managed to get here without losing any of those really delicate, adorable flowers on the flower crown. But yeah, thank you so much, and it is perfectly intact. So yeah, with those announcements and with the necessary showcase of that incredibly adorable turtle, I think we are ready to get started with Tier Moontree Isle. And now I need to think about what I'm looking at. It's fine. I'm a professional.
Are you though?
So in order to begin, would everyone like to sort of recap what happened last time?
I died.
No,
Not true.
You just
I
fell
brought you
unconscious.
back. You mostly died.
Okay, but before that happened, we did a lot.
But before
figures-
that,
Figures
We did.
in the church remind us of what happened to our families, or how our families described what happened to them when they were disappeared. It kind of jogged our memory of like what was going on with the figures in the church that we kept seeing with the time loop.
We took a step into the graveyard and found a very mysterious gravestone that was from 150 years ago. The name on it was Relisit Neander. The Neander family was a moderately wealthy one, but the gravestone itself looked like immaculate, which was weird for it being so old. And then we eventually went inside, and I upturned a big old bag of meat.
Nastiness is what it was. Old meat.
Before that, Ressa did get a good history check on the Neander clan, which was an old clan from the east who moved and left the area over a century ago, which is consistent with the date on the stone, which is about 150 years ago. And they were moderately wealthy and donated to the church. Then I have the words lizard agent, which I had forgotten what that was in reference to. And so it just says lizard agent. And it took my poor, very, lost a few brain cells yesterday, brain a little while to catch up on what a lizard agent was.
I'd like to point out that most of you probably aren't in a big enough window, but the Twitch recap is the episode named Tormanrile, a Grand Old Town, and underneath it, the first bullet is Nero made a new friend.
Jebediah, the lizard agent.
Yeah, and I asked him if he wanted to hang around and stay, and he did in my little pocket. So Jebediah is cool. He's cool with being my cool lizard agent.
Does it turn into the final form of Sobble.
Intellion?
Yeah, Intellion.
It can become a sniper lizard.
Get these nerds out of here. What's going on?
I like that Elisa's like, get these nerds out of here, with you having been the one that volunteered the name of this form.
Galway, don't call attention to these things.
Too late.
So then after after the mysterious meat incident, we all made our way down through a trapdoor. And I guess if someone wants to take over where things went from there, I found a book, and that was cool, and some money.
There was
And a
also
ring, right?
on the cart outside. There was, before we went into the trapdoor, I was looking on that cart outside, which I found papers and a small chest, vial with light green liquid in it, and 15 gold pieces.
And then you found the book, which had only like one page was legible in it, and it gave us an idea that somebody had been kind of hiding out in the basement. They said like the attacks are continuing or getting worse. Hope they don't find me here.
Yeah, and the guy probably fled to try to get food because we didn't find a body there.
Or possibly was disappeared in the same way that our families in this town were disappeared.
Right.
But we don't actually know what happened to him.
And then we slept there, and nothing happened.
But Reza got the swords.
Yep, we got two swords, one of which is magical, a magical longsword.
They're both magical.
Well, yeah, one is a +1, the other one, the short sword, is not. They're both corrupted, though, so they both have certain things that they can do, but only one of them's the +1. So the Wavering Menace is the longsword, and it can induce fear. The short sword is the Lost Legacy, and it has more to do with luck. And you can look up more details if you want, but
I think that's a good summary for those.
I'm also...
Ben,
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say we slept, but I think if you want to not get to sleeping yet, it's fine.
I was going to say, I think that one of the things, Galway, you told me was that Minnow does not recall there being a trapdoor here, right? That was not in her reference of what this building had.
You've never noticed one, at least.
Then we slept.
Nope. Then we found there was also tinker's tools, metal decorated with whirling patterns, which Ressa did not recognize. They're pretty and intricate, but they weren't writing. Dellen came down.
Any about this stuff, so.
Yeah, Dellen came down, and we took the explosives with us.
Yes.
and the metal.
And Dellen, I have in quotes, doesn't know about time fuckery. I love reading my old notes.
I think that there might have been a fumble on an insight check there as well.
Yeah, I think I rolled a 1, and so you told me he doesn't know anything about it, and so I have doesn't know.
Nice.
Yes, then Rachel, what did we do next?
We slept. We slept, and then we decided to leave, but then Ketch and I went to go look ahead because there was a tree and that had been downed, blocking the path, and Ketch saw some lights, and then there was a whole lot of loud, awkward conversation, and we got attacked,
hand
and
signaling.
I was instantly fell.
We got attacked by fucking balls of light.
Will of the Wisps, right?
Correct.
Then we investigated the tent, and we found badly burned mercenaries with orders to find the Marauders, keep them alive, and they had descriptions of all of us. And it had the image of the Shadow Hand, which is that criminal organization that has been poking their noses into Minnow's business. And then we had a conversation where Minnow started to tell you guys, we sent Dellen away and we conversed in the middle of the road for a little while about some of the things that I knew about the Shadow Hand and what was going on, and we left it off there.
And I recalled specifically a vision when I was at Tormanrile where I saw someone showing that sign. It was like on a medallion or a gold piece or something.
Yep. You saw when you were back before you had met the Marauders, you remembered essentially it of you were sitting fishing by the lake late one night and seeing someone who didn't realize you weren't just like a rock, showing a medallion with that in order to apparently gain entry into a building.
And then Ressa was trying to pressure Minnow to tell her secrets and all of those things. And I was trying to very unsuccessfully convince her that we don't need to know and she doesn't need to tell us if she doesn't want to. And that, I think, is where we left off.
Yeah. Dellen is sitting sadly over by the pond, having been told, go away, Dellen, we don't want you to hear this. He is attempting very unsuccessfully to skip stones. It's going very badly. There's basically just like, you see him like more or less picking up a rock and just spiking it down into the water. And then after like every time be like,
I thought he was smart.
Smart, not necessarily skilled in the arts of wasting time.
So, what time of the day was it? I can't remember.
It's
when
right
we-
around dawn.
Very early in the morning, right?
You would set out basically, in order to make up for sort of the time that you were losing by camping near the church, you set out as quickly as you could in the morning. So it was pre-dawn when the Will-o'-the-Wisps attacked you, and now it is full dawn. It's light out, but it's very early in the morning.
It's still early enough that like we could probably take a short rest to try and recoup some of the health that
Absolutely, yeah.
we lost.
Yeah, you should easily be making you should be making it to Tormanrile within the day, certainly. Probably.
Bless you.
Oh, okay, sneezing.
Gesundheit.
I looked back over just in time to see. I'm like, what the?
Is Rachel about to vomit right now into her microphone? Thank God it's on push to talk, otherwise that would be awkward.
This is why we keep things on push to talk. No, but you should get there by mid-afternoon, probably at the latest. You're well on your way there, so that shouldn't be an issue. Taking a rest shouldn't be an issue. So if you want to start doing that, you can.
I don't need to.
We should probably tell Dellen that he was included in the find and capture alive orders.
Should we, though? I mean, this is Rachel talking, not Nero. Nero would agree, but it's fine. I'll be quiet.
Ressa would agree. He deserves to know.
Denta's gonna hobble on over.
Wait, isn't he? Oh, they are likely traveling in the company with another figure he is less capable. He probably doesn't need to know.
Oh, okay. All right. Never mind.
I like to picture Dent like. Never mind.
You could still tell
I'm
him
also-
back, though.
He's a bit of a gentle man, and it might frighten his sensibilities if we told him something like that. We just need to protect him.
It wouldn't hurt to maybe see what he knows. I mean, we can run a lot of this by him and see what information he has. That's his point. That's the point of him existing, right?
We
Is
could.
information.
I could draw it in the dirt, and we could ask him if he recognizes the hand.
Sure.
So yeah, Dent, you can get started on that. You're all are gonna settle down for a short rest then.
Sure.
Sure.
Since I believe Nero and and Ketch would both very much like that.
I'm actually only down 1 hit point from.
Oh, right, because you got
Because my
healed
hit
a lot.
points suck ass, so being healed up, it wasn't that hard to get me up that high. You know what I mean?
But I think Ketch is still a little battered.
Yeah, I'm at 17.
I'm at 18, but
My max is like 20 something.
Yeah.
Does anyone
My
like
max is
regain
29.
spells or abilities on short rests? Like if Ressa takes one, will she get a spell slot back, or do you get
I
a
don't think
fight or die back or anything?
Are
Okay.
key points short rests or long rests? Long rests. I have a book. I could just go fucking get it. Maybe I'll do
I
that.
think it's short, but I don't know for sure.
Anywho, while we look this up.
So if I want to get back some HP on the short rest, what do I have to roll? Is it
So you can roll your hit dice on your character sheet.
okay?
I could cure wounds you too.
Yeah, but I don't want you to have to waste a spell slot if you don't get any back. So Galway, my hit dice here, it says it's a D10. That's what I roll, right? Right? Yeah.
So it's a D10 plus your Constitution mod. You can roll it, see how many hit points you get back, and then choose if you want to roll more. So it'd be 5 plus your con mod back.
1. 6, that's fine. That's much better than it was. So I'll take it.
And Rachel, you recover key points on a short rest. She helps you back.
I just read that myself too. Thank you.
So yeah, as you're sort of meditating and trying to get key points back, Ketch is focusing on almost literally licking his wounds. Ressa, you're kind of thinking about it and thinking about these conversations that have occurred. And you were one of the two. You went with Minnow to check the bodies. And at some point you're like, hey, can I see that note again? And you take it and double check what it says. Oh, right. It's +/-1. I forgot.
Yup.
And you're reading the note, and something seems weird to you. And it's really... Something's trying to click over. Like, I mean, obviously the note itself is quite disquieting, but there's something that's bothering you. Give me a medicine check. And you're thinking about it, and you're trying to think about it, and you're trying to think about it. And then suddenly it clicks for you. It's not actually the note itself. It's the fact that all of you, as you're resting, are able to, at this point, sort of smell the bodies of the dead that were apparently waiting to ambush you. And it takes a second for it to click through in your brain. The note described each of you, and it described that you would be traveling with Dellen.
But we didn't know that we were going to be.
You didn't know that you were going to be, and from anything that he's been able to describe, he didn't know you were going to be until 2 days ago. And those bodies are decomposed in a way that they've definitely been there longer than that.
I will definitely bring this up to the group. And is Dellen still over at the pond?
No one has told him he can come
I-
back, so...
Yeah, I think I finished my drawing and Dellen.
Wait. Before you call him back over,
Oh.
let me fill you guys in on this. Then you can call him.
Okay, hold on a second, Dellen.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm not sure I trust him. You know, I know he didn't know for sure that he was going to be traveling with us, but he did ask.
Well, we know that all this time fuckery has my notes say. It was happening at the church. I mean, there's a tombstone that looks 150 years old according to the date, but looks 1 year old according to common sense. So I don't know, maybe something happened like that with these bodies.
What if we propose, like, to maybe start developing some kind of trust with Dylan, that if he tells us something about this hand that we don't know, then we tell him something.
Well, okay, so all right. So when we were in the building, you remember nobody really wanted to go into the building, but I was like, screw this, let's go in the building. So we went in the building. And then we went down into this hole in the building that you said you had never seen before. But yeah, we went down it anyway because why the hell not? What if, now follow me here, what if while we were down there, the time fuckery happened and more days have passed than we originally thought?
Does anybody know how to tell what day it is by looking at the sun or the position of stars and shit?
I mean, I'm not intelligent, not by the slightest, but I'm going to say the sun tells us time.
Would I be able to tell at all? Like, I spent a lot of time at the monastery and practicing lots of shit.
It would be a little bit difficult to tell via the sun, and it's bright enough now that the stars have basically gone out of the sky. It will also be, I mean, it'll be easy enough once you're in Tormanrile. You can just ask what day it is.
Could, like, I guess we wouldn't be able to tell, like, if the road looked more, like, eroded or, like, worn down. Like, could we do, like, a nature check or something like that to...
Or maybe survival?
Survival?
Sure, you could. That would...
I mean, if we're thinking it's like a week has passed, probably we're not going to be able to tell, versus like if years have passed, which would suck.
So you could certainly give me a perception check or a survival check, your preference, to try to look at the condition of the road generally, your surroundings, etc.
I'm gonna try for nature.
Can I assist?
Yeah.
Could I not look since I asked before too, or is that...
Yeah, you can. Two people can look.
All right, so it'll be me and Rachel?
Yeah. I'll say that Dent has advantage on the check, 16. All right,
If
so
I had advantage, I'd have a 20.
16 was the high roll, but you also rolled very well with a 13. So the two of you are looking around, and much to what Elise just said, I think Elise, not Minnow, you are certainly not like centuries in the future or the past. The road looks very much as it has every time you've traveled it. The only exception being this sort of pair of trees that's been felled and some sort of stones piled up. But those like, there are clear gaps where there used to be stones here and someone dragged them across the road. So that all adds up. It's not like the rubble from the church wall or anything. So if there is time fuckery, it's more limited than you're going to be able to notice with that.
Ketch brings up a good point, but I don't know that we're going to be able to figure it out with the information we have right now, and I feel like we should just push on.
Yeah, maybe it's best to just kind of, regroup at Tormanrile and see what we can find out there.
Yeah, and I do suppose Dylan might have told us if we'd been in the basement for a day or two.
Well, he came down with us after a little while. We didn't ask how long it seemed to have been when we were down there, but...
Time shift didn't happen while we were down there, noticeably, though.
Well,
We didn't...
We
I
weren't
guess-
looking.
but yeah,
I was always looking.
But so, like, the time shift thing, because, like, I'm still kind of stuck on this time shift thing. Is it like, but we were all in the same building, right? So, like, if we would have shifted, he would have shifted, and we all would have
Yeah,
shifted.
it could. We were definitely in
Right.
range when it shifted with the troll.
Yeah.
So we don't actually know that it didn't affect us in some way.
Guys, I'm kind of freaked out right now, I'm not gonna lie. This is weird. What if I'm, like, 3 days older?
I think 3 days is a pretty good case scenario at this point.
Yeah, but, like, dude, I'm a cat. Cats age differently. I'm like,
Yeah, and you have 9 lives. How
What
many
if
have you
you're 3
gone
days
through?
younger?
I don't.
You might be 3 days younger.
Considering the
like that
decomposed
thought.
bodies, I'm gonna go ahead and say going into the past seems unlikely.
I'm gonna pull Jebediah.
Well,
out of
no,
my
no, no.
pocket and- I'm gonna pull Jebediah out of my pocket, and I'm gonna just look to him, and I'm gonna stroke his little head, and I'm gonna ask him, "Hello, little secret agent lizard friend. Do you know what day it is?"
Jebediah was with us too.
Not the whole time. Only he was with us after all the time fuckery happened.
He licked first the right eye, then the left eye.
Cool.
Theoretically,
Make of
though,
that what
if
you will.
time, if time jumped when we were in the basement, that would put us as younger than everyone else around us.
You make
Relatively.
a good point, and I will tease Arden mercilessly about this if it's what is true. But in the meantime, maybe we just carry on to Tormanrile where we can actually get some answers.
Can I call Dylan over now?
I'm surprised
He's
you're not
probably
calling him over
sad
right
enough.
now.
Dylan! I mean it this time. You can actually come over.
I think I got one. And you see him, he's actually like pulled out the fishing pole that you gave him, Dent. And is straining to like reel something in.
You need to pull back and let it exhaust itself a little bit, and then reel it in.
Okay. Oh, thank you. Okay.
I think you've got it.
And he will slowly reel it in. And it is actually a small freshwater fish.
I was expecting a boot.
I can't be continuously mean to Dylan.
I can.
Yeah, I know, because I'm like, you all have that covered.
Wow, that's like almost a mouthful. Good job.
Thank you. It's
Hey,
just-
Dylan, do you know what this picture that Dent drew is?
he's sort of looking at it. Oh, it's upside down. Oh. Well, yes, this is the sigil of the Shadow Hand. They're very dangerous if you cross them, though generally more interested in their business than in the whole murdering you on sight thing. Why?
Interesting. What kinds of tell us, what do you know about them in terms of like scope or interests, especially maybe regarding would they have been smuggling ancient artifacts into Amberheart a week and a half ago?
Interesting. I had never considered the possibility that they could have been involved in that. Their scope is worldwide. They have agents in every city I've ever heard of, though they are very difficult to find unless you know the right or wrong people. It is very difficult to say their interests. Whatever they are, their interests are he seems to be like struggling for the word. Their interests are calculated. They are aiming for something or some things, but with the snatches of information I've ever heard and my associates have ever heard, we've never been able to determine what that is in truth. Smaller goals, certainly, but the bigger plan escapes us. Just the feeling that there is a greater plan.
Is there anything that they have done previously that has, like, come to light? Like any known crimes or, happenings that have been attributed to them?
It is difficult to say. They are sort of the boogeymen of generally the crown and law and order. All kinds of crimes and incidents are attributed to them that I do not believe they had any hand in, and I'm sure many incidents that are not attributed to them were in fact their work. I have known upon 2 occasions for them to steal a magical artifact, primarily a corrupted item. But I do not know why. One was, we believe, a weapon. The other was some kind of ring. My associates and I had not had the chance to examine those items, so we do not know what they did. But the point you made... They do have extensive smuggling operations. It might be possible that they were responsible for bringing that creature to Amberheart. Though it is difficult to say whether it is a thing that they themselves did or a thing they were contracted to do.
Not Minnow out loud, but Minnow in her head, having now seen definitely corrupted items and hearing that things like a ring could be a corrupted item. Can I do an Arcana check on how I remember the locket that I stole and see if I think that the locket was possibly also a corrupted item?
Yeah, you can give me an Arcana check with disadvantage because you're kind of having
Cool.
to do this post hoc.
I think I clicked it.
Just thinking about it.
Oh
dear.
Come on.
So with the disadvantage, that will be a fumble. The way that I play with inspiration is if anyone has inspiration, you are allowed to give that to Elise at this point. Potentially avoid that fumble.
I have inspiration, but I kind of don't feel like this is the best moment to use it. So
Same. I mean, she did say in her head, so technically we don't know what's going on.
I play inspiration more above the table than within the game. But yeah, but totally cool. It's a skill check when you're not, it's a skill check that's not the athletics to make it to the next roof. So yeah, you're thinking about the locket, and you're not sure because there was always something that bothered you. The locket opened normally enough, and there was a small inscription on it, the sort of standard platitudes of undying love and affection. But there was always something in the back of your mind that felt like there was another compartment that would open in it, but you could never, no matter what you did, find it, nor could Arden. So maybe it's hard to say. Because, I mean, also, a thing having an extra hidden compartment wouldn't necessarily make it a magical item. Though, someone with your skill level trying to tinker with it for a long time would suggest you should have found it if it was purely mechanical.
Okay.
The yellow gemstone like ring that I got.
Mm-hmm.
At no point did we make a determination about whether or not that was magic, right? It was just a pretty ring.
Did I identify it when I was doing the swords?
No,
I can't
you did
remember.
not identify it. You identified the swords, and Dent had just been holding on to it. And you also tried to identify the plates of metal, and they were not magic.
Hey, Dent, what do you think about letting me take a look at that ring?
What ring?
Oh, the one before we left, that you bought in the market?
Okay, right, that ring. Gotcha. Yeah, sure, you can take a look at my ring.
Nero just shakes his head.
And I tacitly hand over the ring.
Hey. And inwardly cringe.
Dellen, do you know the name of the sword that was, or the weapon, the corrupted weapon that you know of that the Shadow Hand smuggled?
The one that they stole?
Yeah, that one.
I believe the individual who had gotten his hands on it described it as a sliver of shadow.
Does that match?
I do not know if that was its name, but...
Does that ring bells? I can't help Elise's very flatlined brain
No,
tonight.
not really. That doesn't sound like anything you'd know. I mean, let me also put it this way. It very much sounds like a weapon or a name that a lot of people who run in your circle would give their weapon. But no, you're not like, oh shit, that blade or anything.
Okay.
Should we tell him something?
Hey, Dellen, plug your ears.
What?
Plug them. Plug them.
Okay.
Please. Do I think he's actually plugging his ears?
He appears to have his fingers in his ears. You could give me like a perception or an insight check if you really want to double down on this.
No, I feel like he's pretty well cowed. Okay, I turn to Dent and I whisper, what do you want to tell him?
I don't know, that maybe we found out through the grapevine that our names might have appeared on a list of wanted people by the Shadow Hand. Maybe that's a bit too much. Maybe we should just tell him to be careful.
I don't know. I honestly... Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna just say, like, since I can tell you're trying to whisper and, like, not have him hear things, I feel like Nero would just kind of feel bad for him and just start doing some elemental attunement shit, kind of standing in front of him, like, making a shower of sparks in his hand or blowing, like, a puff of air, like, being like, ooh.
He sort of smiles at you.
Okay, I don't know what we gain by not telling him. So far, we have no reason to believe that he's lying to us, do we?
I also think that, like, if he isn't aware that he's in some degree of mortal peril, that when we get to where we're going, that if he just goes about his day once we get there, that he might end up in a bad place.
Okay, thumbs up or thumbs down. Do we tell Dellen about the note? 1, 2, 3.
Tell him.
Catch?
Ooh.
Yeah, we tell him. Catch is also very distracted by his tail right now because it is just all over the place.
I look over at Nero and I go, Nero, thumbs up or thumbs down?
Nero just turns and kind of sends a shower of sparks in your direction.
That's what I thought. All right, can you get Dellen's attention and tell him to come over here?
Dellen is fixedly staring at everything Nero's doing, so...
Poor Dellen.
I'm being nice to him and entertaining him.
Yeah, tell him he can unplug his ears and tell him we need him.
I'll motion to him that he can take his ears
Oh,
out.
is it okay again?
Yeah, I think that Minnow wants to speak with you.
Oh, okay.
So, Dylan.
I'm gonna just put my hand kind of nicely on his shoulder, like on his like upper back while this happens, because I just feel kind of bad for him, and I want it to be kind of like comforting and like it's all right, but I don't actually know if it is or not.
I will produce the note from my pack, and so you know these dead bodies that you can smell from the camps?
Yes. Yeah, it's quite unpleasant.
Yes. Well, they happen to have this note, which is quite concerning for a variety of reasons on them, and I let him read it.
He's going to sort of go along, oh, that's not good. You think he's gotten to the is not very competent part? Oh, that's not very nice.
They probably meant the horses.
He's going to sort of stop like, wait.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Ressa put it together too.
Yeah, this is... Those men have been dead for at least a week.
Yep.
A week ago, I was still in the caves. I hadn't even attempted to contact my associates.
Okay, so theory 1, the shadow hand. Wait,
Time
theory
fuckery.
1. Yes, theory 1 is time.
Right?
Wait, I
fuckery.
have, but okay. Theory 1, time fuckery, a la the building that maybe was once a church and now a smuggling outpost where we were in the basement. Theory 2, the shadow hand is more connected to time fuckery than the building, and they're manipulating time.
But then why would they have sent a bunch of people to their doom? Like if they were in control of this,
I don't know.
Then-
I mean,
People were killed by the
Right.
will-o-wisps, I thought.
the will-o-wisps, yeah, could have just been. Oops.
I think
like,
they all.
Those were some angry balls of light.
I mean, Occam's razor says time fuckery while we were in the church.
Does Occam exist?
Wait, I thought that was me. I'm Ketch.
Ketch's razor says. And we've just invented a new common sense rule called Ketch's razor for the world of Tyr.
Or should it be Ketch's tail?
Ketch's tail. Aw.
Yeah, that fucker won't stay still.
He's going to sort of pass you back the note. Yes, those are both possible. The second is absolutely terrifying. The idea that the Shadow Hand can manipulate time itself is not a comforting one for anyone other than the Shadow Hand. But there's
Insight
also
check on him talking about time fuckery because I fumbled it last time and Minnow just thinks he knows everything about it now.
And
Okay.
could I do it too, since I had been suspicious?
Yeah. Both of you can give me an insight check.
Hey, nat 20 this time.
At a okay,
Yes!
Jesus Christ, a pair of 24s, one of which is a nat 20. Okay, both of you get the very clearly, like you're absolutely certain. He does not know what the time fuckery is. And is absolutely terrified at the idea that the Shadow Hand could control it. He is being 100% above board with this. Both of you who had also been and the two of you actually were the ones who had been a little bit suspicious of him before when you'd mentioned it. His kind of stammering reaction to all of that was purely from the implications of, oh shit, this place is warping backwards and forwards across time. That ain't good. That's not a thing that should happen. So you are both entirely convinced that he is being open and above board about this. He does not know anything about this. I will also say, to reward the crit, you can kind of retrospectively look at that, Minnow, and you're quite sure he is not involved with the Shadow Hand. And you can feel that he's really worried about something, but that also is going to come out from what he was starting to say before you're both like, insight! We have you, you bastard! You said something.
I mean, given the fumble last time,
I understand. I understand the I have fumbled. I must redeem myself.
Yes.
He goes, there is a third option. These men have been here probably at least a week. And orders to intercept you traveling with me.
Are we sure
What if
that
the
note meant you? It didn't say your name. It could have been any inept person.
Well, thank you, but assuming at least it was me, perhaps the Shadow Hand knew before I did that I would need an escort to find the members of Deephold. Perhaps they are involved in why I cannot contact my associates.
It's definitely possible. I
Did
feel like
you have?
I was just gonna say, I mean, like, how would they know that they would hire us, that it would be us who went? I mean,
Because we're the
I mean, we're the best. Like the Marauders. We kick ass. Who else would they hire? Right? Come on, Nero. Right?
Nero sets off some sparks. Shoo shoo.
Dylan, did you have an escort when you first made your way to Amberheart?
No. It was thought best that I travel more covertly, and I was in Tormanrile anyway at the time.
okay, fourth possible option. The note was planted after the bodies died for us to find.
The note was planted by the balls of light fire.
No.
Can they
There's some
hold
crap
hands?
balls of. They can hold force. Did you see how it hit me?
But it does, if
It
that
might
were
be
true,
like-
there would be
I
someone.
didn't. I was passed out.
If that were true,
right.
some agent of the Shadow Hand could be around, have seen these mercenaries, seen us approaching, seen the Will-O-Wisps, wanted us to
Big
find that.
balls of light.
Again,
It
we're
was
getting
a
into
shadow.
more.
So maybe the Will-O-Wisps are working with the Shadow Hand. I see what you're saying, Minnow.
Yep. I think we've officially gotten into the deep end.
I feel like I do now need art of Minnow
the biggest
sensing that
fish
she's
are.
losing control of the situation.
Oh wait, is that a rabbit hole? I think we just jumped down it.
It's Minnow
I
but
can
in the
talk to
Charlie
it.
from It's Always Sunny meme with like the cigarette and the board.
I kind of have assumed, Ressa, that you're casting Identify in the background during this. I just put the description of the ring in your journal.
By some chance, I think.
Incidentally, the entire time you were doing this, holding it, Ketch's tail kept like slapping towards you.
Oh, right, because you were super interested. Sorry, Sam. Just double checking that Ketch was super interested in the ring, right? Or like really drawn to it?
Yep.
Okay, sorry, continue.
A few of, I know that we looked at a couple of the bodies, but are there any more? Could we possibly investigate them to see if we could find one of these medallions that I remember seeing?
Ressa and Minnow investigated each of the campsites and each of the bodies.
Oh,
we
okay.
just did it
I
as a
wasn't
summary roll because we were right up at the end of time last time.
The end of time? I knew that we jumped around a lot in the church, but fuck.
I like that Heather is also just sitting there looking at this thoroughly ridiculous item that I produced.
So I'm gonna pull Dent aside. Come here. Let me chat with you for just a minute.
Okay.
This ring.
It's really pretty, isn't it?
It sure is. I think it might be something that Ketch would really want. Did you put it on or attune to it?
But I wouldn't have had the chance to attune to it yet.
You also
I
can't
didn't
fit it on
sleep
your
with it.
fingers. Because your fingers are a suit of armor.
I mean, I could wear it like a necklace, but it's yellow, and yellow is my favorite color.
So I'll tell you what. How about if I can get you a replica of this? Because I'm assuming my Blessing of the Forge, yes, will let me replicate it.
Okay, well, I do really like Ketch. Ketch also found me and is the reason I'm a Marauder.
Okay. So,
Can you tell me why I should give it to Ketch?
well, it's a cat's meow ring, which is kind of cool. We might want to be careful with it. She could use it after she's attuned to it to cast some spells like animal friendship. With cats, and speak with cats. Except cats are gonna start following
can
her.
she already speak with cats?
Can you?
No, he can speak with his family, who are
But not like
tabaxi.
cats, not tabaxis, right?
I don't think I can. How cool would
No.
that be? Like, I will try. I will one-shoe the hell out of that and just start meowing. But
No, but see, there is a problem with it because then cats are going to be, well, he will become irresistible to cats. And they'll start
I mean, he already is.
pretty much. So
Okay.
Sustained
All right,
gasp.
So I take the ring back and I look at it, and I'm a little sad, but
And
this is the right thing to do.
And for the record, Ressa, yes, you will be able to create, using your channel divinity from this, you'll be able to create an exact replica of the ring. It just won't have any magical abilities.
right.
And you will have to have, you would guess, I believe it requires you to have the same amount of value, right?
Right. Same amount of metal in value or something.
You can create something that is worth no more than 100 gold pieces with a value equal to the creation. Yeah, so it's about 50 gold pieces.
Okay. And can I make it big enough so that it would actually fit on Dent?
The process will create an exact replica, but then you are yourself a skilled enough smith that you could alter the ring pretty easily.
Okay.
And that
so
will
the
be
next-
much safer. You would know that altering magical items is always kind of a tricky thing because sometimes the magic is tied to the form and you can really fuck something up. If it's a mundane version of this, yeah, that'll be easy.
Okay. I can do that. So next time we've, got, I don't know if, I don't necessarily want to do it now because it'll take me an hour. And we should probably get rolling. But, next time we go to rest.
Speaking
Okay.
of identifying things, should we identify this vial of green liquid just to see if it's a potion?
I could stick my pinky finger in it and give it a taste.
Well, Nero, that's an idea.
That is a way
Happy to
that you can
identify it.
identify it, yes.
I'm casting as ritual, by the way.
I kind of figured, yeah. I kind of figured you were not just like spending first level spell slots for fun.
Do you have time to do that? Do we have time to
It'll
do
be
that?
another 11 minutes.
We've been short resting, right? So she could do this while short resting, can't she? Or...
She can, though you've completed the short rest portion.
But
between-
I mean, could
Or I
have
can
been
wait.
done during it? Because it's like an hour. I'm assuming we didn't just stick out there with our thumbs up our butts. Only Ketch and I really need
Not to be this person, but technically during a short rest, you can't like cast
No,
spells
no,
or things
but
if you want the benefit
didn't
I
of
run
it.
didn't
the
think
short
she
rest.
was
Oh,
short
yeah, that's
resting.
true.
Only
Okay, okay,
Ketch
okay.
and I were.
That's right,
That's
okay.
what I meant.
She
yeah.
was
So it's
also
okay if you're that person.
she was also
I'm
working
also-
though on figuring out the bodies, and like sort of walked back over to look at how decomposed the bodies were, walked back to the note, and like there's been a fair amount of sort of processing and activity going on. So it has been about an hour now.
I would like to, play out this scene with me and Ketch. Also, I would want Reza there because she made it. So Ketch.
What's up,
I
bud?
have something for you, and it's not an easy thing for me to give, but it has been made easier by the fact that I now have a less than magical but exact replica of it made by Ressa. And so I would like to think of it as a friendship ring.
You won't have that until probably the next day, was what Ressa was saying.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, I will eventually have the other one, so here. It is a, from what I've heard, it's called the Cat's Meow, and you are absolutely the Cat's Meow. And it has a bunch of magical things, but I'm sure that they'll all instantly appear within your journal pretty soon. But yeah, I think you should have it. But yeah.
You handed it to me?
And you'll need to attune to it.
Dude, this is... Dude.
I know, it's so pretty in yellow.
And I look at my tail and be like, this is what you were going on about. Dude. But I know how much you love yellow.
Don't worry, I'm gonna make him a replica.
Well, hold on. And so I'll take the ring and can I put the ring on before attuning to it?
Yeah, it'll just take you sort of the span of time of a short rest to attune.
Okay.
But you can wear the ring.
Put it on, and then I'm going to dig in my pouch, and I'm going to pull out a yellow marble Dent. This is from Pickles. And I know how much
I
you
love
yellow.
Pickles.
Pickles is the best. Don't tell everyone else that, but Pickles is the best. I want you to have this. And then I'll hand Dent the marble.
I pick it up and look at it. And then I tuck it in a pocket. I have pockets, I think, maybe.
You have some pouches.
You do now.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, cool.
You also
I
have a
guess
backpack.
True. Off to Tormanrile then, eh? Are we all going to get back on our horses, or are we just going to leave them there?
Get the horses.
Yeah, I think we'll ride.
Yeah.
I mean, they're massive fucking horses. We should ride these things.
I'm just gonna stretch out on it fully, like reclining.
Yeah, horses, like, mounts generally in D&D, if you're on a battle map, are so problematic, because it's like, oh yeah, large creature. Shit. Alright, very good. Yeah, you begin riding, you lead the horses around, you get back on the road. You're following the well-traveled, you're well used to it, the forest road, to Tormanrile. And
on the way, can I ask, does anyone want to claim the finesse sword? Because I could spend this ride attuning to that.
Nope.
Because
You
I
should
can
have
get a
it.
sneak attack with it.
Was that the short sword, or was that
it's the
think
long sword.
the long sword? Oh, yeah, no, go for it.
is that I would have proficiency in long swords as a rogue. I can't remember if I have. I can just look. I might have it on my sheet.
I was like, I totally remember weapons proficiencies.
Go away. Are you by chance?
Oh,
gonna put
I
that
do
ring
have
thing.
long sword proficiency. Yes, it's right there on my sheet.
You could also be attuning to the ring as you ride, and then that'll give you
Cool.
access to it.
Okay, I'll attune to the ring.
All right. So yeah, you're riding along, and I will say that it takes you until about, it seems like, a little bit afternoon, and then you're arriving at Tormanrile, and I will go ahead and put those items, the Wavering Menace, into Minnow's handouts, and I'll put the Cat's Meow into Ketch's, but I suggest that we take a short break here. Maybe take 10 minutes, stretch our legs, grab a snack, You can look at your items, and then we will be at the city of Tormanrile when we get back. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. We will be back in just a few minutes. in the first half, the Marauders figured out that some things seemed to not quite line up with time, which is kind of becoming a familiar experience for them, and debated what they should tell to Dellen, like whether that they'd received a note that stated he wasn't very competent. He seemed to accept that in stride. And now, having redistributed some magical items, you have traveled, and it's now probably 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and you find yourselves emerging from the forest with the city walls of Tormanrile in front of you. Change music. Change music.
It's so pretty.
Okay. Yeah, so you see the city stretching out before you. You're following a road that you have plenty of times before. And I want to do something that I haven't, sort of on camera, that we haven't normally done. Incidentally, 2 notes on city maps for me. One, they are not to scale because I either would have to have your, like, character tokens be a pinpoint, or I would have to make the map so big that everyone's browser would roll over and die attempting to load it. So I have consolidated you into a party token, which is here. Just do not assume the city map is to scale. It is set to some...
What happens if we split the party? What happens if we split the party?
I'm actually kind of expecting you to, and that is why you'll notice
cry.
that token is numbered 1. There are 5 of them. Yeah, the yellow is a little faint, but they're color-coded, and yeah. But so you see, as you clear the trees of the Moonwatcher Forest, you see the city of Tormanrile spread out before you, and behind it and beyond it, you can see a little bit of the light glittering off of the lake. And the city is, in many ways, for you guys, nearly a second home, often nearly a main base of operations for the Marauders, because there's a lot more jobs here. And most of you have formed some kind of tie with the city. And I'd like to do something that I don't often do, but in terms of for character, I'd like to take a few moments for each of you as you're entering town for you to describe what you think your character's relationship would be with Tormanrile. This is the big city in your area. So this is, for anyone who grew up in Amberheart, this would be the big city, and almost all roads out of Amberheart and into the wider world pass through Tormanrile. You could have been coming here for years, even before you became one of the Marauders, before you adventured. So just sort of 3 general feelings. What feelings, if any, does going to Tormanrile produce in you? Like, just how do you feel about being back here? What portions of the city do you think would be most familiar to your character? And growing up, what did Tormanrile represent to you? Like, what was the big city for you? And is it still that? We can go in order and have Rachel go first.
Oh, great. So I would say, while I was a little kid, I grew up in the forest until it burned down and everyone died but me. And then I was with the monastery, and I feel like kind of my goal in life has always been to talk to and friendly engage with everybody I come across. So I would say that I might have been like the person that the monastery sent to interact with whoever they needed to in the city.
Yeah.
Just go, I would be the interface person, because I'm just so friendly and likable and not at all annoying in any way. And I would say I did all that kind of interfacing. And then I would also say I'm not a big drinker, but I would go to places around here that were full of people and just try and talk to people. a lot. So wherever that would be, I would feel like those would be my two main relationships with the city.
Okay, that makes sense. So you probably spent a fair amount of time then in the Merchants District and the Plaza District, because those are kind of the two major hangout areas, and the plaza itself is a place where it is very common for people to gather, proclamations to be had. There's lots of like little like markets and stuff through there, so you would have had plenty of business there. You probably also would have gone to the Merchants District a fair amount on business for the monastery, of just like, hey, we're getting supplies.
I would have been the kind of person that would walk up to stalls and just like ask for the shopkeeper's life story, you know, not like in that direct of a way, but just like,
tell me everything.
Yeah. So what's your deal?
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I really like that. Awesome. Chris/Catch.
So growing up, I worked, well, basically I still, even when I'm not messing with the Marauders, I am working for my parents' shop. Yeah. And we do like books and such. And unfortunately, to my dad's like favor, I am really good at calligraphy. So mom is always having me like edit books and draft letters and then kind of, you know, write in and fill books as people need stuff done. So I would have traveled back and forth to the city basically for all of that. I guess I would have been in like most of the districts, probably except the docks. But being, you know, a tabaxi, I don't want to go really near the water anyway, so that's fine by me. So I guess I would have gone everywhere, even the castle, because even the mayor of Amberheart liked to have me because I'm so good, like freaking good, like so amazingly good at calligraphy and just writing and writing and writing, that I would have gone to the castle a lot and, you know, done like all of the, you know, the higher up people's stuff. And then I definitely would have popped into like the Merchants and Crafters District to just, you know, bring some stuff home to my siblings.
Nice, yeah. So, yeah, I would say that you definitely are probably pretty familiar with most of the districts of the city, maybe with the exception of the Docks District. And you probably, especially given your predilection for, or your family's business in calligraphy, you probably did spend the majority of your time in the Crafters District and the Castle District, because the Castle District would have been direct delivery of customers' orders if someone had sent out to your home. And then in the Crafters District, there would have been a lot of the bookbinders and raw materials that you all would have used or potentially sold to. Yeah, awesome. Minnow.
So my gut is that Minnow is very familiar with Tormanrile because she grew up in Amberheart to a family that her dad arranged caravans for merchants and her mom is a crafter, right? Is a woodworker. And so I think that growing up, she went on a lot of back and forth trips with her parents, with the caravans and with her mom's merchandise to sell on weekends or things like that. And then once she was a little older and started running with more criminal groups, I imagine she started spending more time in the city, both kind of partying and also getting mixed up with the wrong crowds, right? And, so probably the docks and the plaza a lot more. And when she was a little bit younger, the merchants and the crafters districts a little bit more. And once she started getting into more like burglaries and things like that, I imagine the Castle District was a hotspot for some of the last and biggest hits that she was part of before retiring, after kind of getting scared out of the criminal life and settling down with Arden.
Yeah, that makes sense. I would certainly say you're probably very familiar with the Merchants District, the Docks District, the Plaza District, and also what are referred to as like the outer wards. So all of these areas that are outside the city walls.
Yeah.
You probably didn't spend as much time in the Crafters District. You did a little bit like with your parents growing up of, oh, hey, we're delivering stuff here, we're taking stuff back from there. And yeah, you did some hits in the Castle District, but it's not like a place you spent just a ton of time.
No, I would say that's like minimal amounts of time, just like, and actually probably she was extremely nervous the whole time.
Yeah, it was like, I know that building real well.
Yeah, exactly. And that was like outside her comfort zone of like, she was like small time, started getting mixed up in the big time stuff, and that's when she and Arden pulled the ripcord. It was after kind of that happened, and it freaked them both out, right? But I was gonna say, like, I definitely think Crafters District is not somewhere she's been since she was a kid. Like, she has no interest in doing what her mom does, and like I would say like that's something, you know, she did a lot as a kid with her mom, but hasn't ever really gone back to.
Yep, makes sense. Cool. Dent, you spent a fair amount of time sort of near Tormanrile, at least. We cannot hear you.
That's because of push to talk. I feel like my past, I mean, I'm an amnesiac. I don't really remember my life really at all prior to joining the Marauders, but I think that I guess my one question would be, like, where was I when I saw the Shadow Hand situation happening? I would, like, as we're approaching, I would let everyone know that, that I would let them know about where this place was. But I think, you know, my three kind of places that I would have frequented would be around there where I did all of my fishing. If there is a fisherman's market within the docks, it was probably there too, you know, to replenish my various things like the lures and such. And then I was probably like actually on the docks themselves.
So you're mostly...
Well, did you see that they couldn't hear you? Sorry. Chat says they couldn't hear you.
Galway is muted according to Bruce.
And people's...
And also Lena.
We can hear you now.
Could you not hear me for like... Okay. It might have been because it was canceling out when I was trying to do the ping. In addition, it was canceling my push to talk button. Yeah, I was just saying, you were mostly centered down here. This building in the far southern area is the one that you saw someone entering. And yeah, that scans with... you spent a lot of time sort of along this coast of the town fishing, and then you would kind of come in through the south road gate. This is called the Coast Road, and then you would go through the Docks District, and actually right in here, right in this sort of open plaza area, is the fish market. So there's plenty of stuff that you would have done there, and then you would have been along those docks, plenty. So that makes sense.
Yeah, I just know that, you know, prior to the Marauders, I was, you know, incredibly resistant to wanting to engage in like a lot of social stuff because of just the pressure of people finding out that I'm just a suit of armor. And like, while I'm fine with attention, I disliked getting consistently that attention.
Yeah. I kind of suspect that you mostly stayed outside of town in that coast and even down into some of the forest that you can see, sort of into the southeast of town. And then you mostly went to the Docks District very early in the morning, because the fishermen's supply markets opened very early, and so that way you were sort of in and out of town almost as soon as the gates would open. But yeah, that
I imagine that I probably like had a person or two within the fish market that I would frequent, you know.
Yeah.
But I feel like it was probably just that.
and they were used to that, not because people were just animate suits of armor, but because often people ended up with sort of favored merchants. So that didn't strike anyone as particularly odd. And you probably still have a couple of contacts down in the docks district that you could go talk to because of that. All right, Ressa?
I think that I'm probably most familiar with the Crafters District, for sure. I think my whole family is members of, I guess it would be the Blacksmiths Guild.
Yeah.
And, okay. And that, you know, traveled back and forth. Maybe we have some distant family members that are still in the city that visit back and forth. And certainly would be somewhat familiar with the merchant district as well, because you know, we sell the things that we make. My dad makes more weapons, my mom makes more jewelry, and I lean toward the jewelry, so you know, we can tend to place some of it. I don't know if we'd sell it in the crafters district or place it with someone in the merchants district.
You could do a bit of both. Sometimes you would sell, actually, especially some of the jewelry would be sold in the crafters district to then sort of the elite tailors, etc., for adding on as embellishment to outfits. You could also directly sell it on yourselves to merchants. Most of your large sort of standard trade would be handled when caravans came through Amberheart. So this would normally be if something was done on commission or something in particular would come up. You would go to Tormanrile.
Okay. I think I'm trying to follow in my mom's footsteps, and I think she's an exquisitely talented jeweler, and so she probably had quite a few commissions that she would take care of.
So, yeah, very good. Thank you. Like I said, I just want to do sort of a little bit of character building just so I can think about where you all would fall inside the town, and some connections that you might have and things like that, and doing a little bit of character work. I'm going to go ahead and pop a few locations up onto the map layer. And it ended up being just about all of them. So you all know as a group sort of multiple inns within town. In the Merchants District, there are two. Most of you who are familiar with the Merchants District are familiar with one called the Wandering Halfling. It's very comfortable. It's a little more upscale, upmarket than some of them, and there are some oddities that we'll go into if you go there. Minnow, as much as you are not as familiar with the Merchants District, there is one on the eastern edge right by the plaza called the Light in the Dark. And that is essentially the inn that people who are decently connected and do not want to be bothered and are probably doing illegal things stay at. Its main thing is that it has 5 entrances in and out that you can see, and you can only see 3 of them at a time. People are very familiar with you just want to get in and out. This is a thing that they do. The Tattooed Turtle in the Docks District is one. It's not rougher, but it's very, it goes to great lengths to ensure its patrons aren't bothered, and it's a little bit lower end just because it's the Docks District, so you'd know that one as well. Ressa, you would be very familiar with the Winged Needle up in the Crafters District. It's a fairly nice, fairly comfortable one, and lots of out-of-town crafters, like you and your parents, stayed there many times when you were doing some work. The walking shrub in the castle district is actually one that Ketch knows because of having meetings essentially set there. It's incredibly upscale, and it received its name from its topiaries or grass sculptures, which are known to move, or at least rumored to. It's weird, but it's very swanky. And then, even though you never went there, Dent, you're very familiar with, in the South Outer Ward District, the Drunken Demon, which is famous for two things. One, the fact that there is always a raucous din of people having a good time coming out from spilling out into the road from the inside. And two, the fact that the roof is always on fire. A very carefully maintained series of like pitch barrels make it a very distinct place on the outskirts of town. You tended to give it a wide berth because there were always people there. But yeah, there's lots of inns that you can stay at. You can decide which one you want to be going into as you get further in. But yeah, you are now on the road to the west of town, proceeding inward.
Did you say I know anything, and did I just totally miss it?
Oh,
or do I not know anything?
No. Nero, you would be very familiar with the Wandering Halfling. Sorry, I was picking out the ones that were kind of individual to people. You would be very familiar with the Wandering Halfling. You had been to the Walking Shrub, but you never really stayed there. The monastery didn't have that much. You probably primarily stayed in the Wandering Halfling and the Tattooed Turtle when you were there, mainly because those were more within the means of the monastery. But you've probably been in every inn/tavern because you would just go up and be like, there's lots of people gathered here. I kind of assumed you have at least a passing familiarity with all of them, and so as a result you didn't really have one that you might have been more partial to as a base of operations.
Gotcha, that makes sense.
I love the idea of Nero going into the light and the dark with all these like shady people and just being like, what's your deal? And everybody's like scatters like cockroaches.
But I want it to also be that I walk in and I'm like, hey, John, how's it going? And then they tell me about their family or whatever. It's great.
I kind of feel like there are people in the light and the dark who are like regulars who have literally made up an entire cover family just to be able to talk to Nero about them, because they really want to talk to Nero, but they're also not going to mention anything about their actual family to anyone. But they're like,
hilarious.
Fuck, we need.
I'm going to be like, how's Sally doing? And they're going to be like, fuck Sally. Which one is it, the wife or the kid? Shit.
I should have thought about this more carefully. I figured he would forget. It's been 9 years.
So my run-ins with people from the Drunken Demon are far and few between. But I did have this one, unfortunately, not forgettable encounter. I was just doing as I do, fishing, completely still. And as you know me, when I'm completely still, for some reason, people just mistake me for a suit of armor. Like, right? Sure, I guess it's happened before. This person tried to try me on.
Oh no.
It did not end well for them, let's just say.
How did it feel?
It really grinded my gills.
Wait. No, that's a different conversation.
Okay. So yeah, we're going to just move you all along the road. Get you in towards town.
Minnow would be keeping a very, 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 very close eye on everything, looking for anything suspicious that reminds her of criminals, and could be connected to the Shadow Hand, because she is very on edge.
I mean, we do know that to the southeast there, like, I mean, I did mention it, that's where I saw this place. So do we want to do like a reconnaissance kind of situation?
I'm just assuming that if they're looking for us, they're going to have scouts looking at every entrance kind of thing.
I would definitely be walking through the city, just like waving at everybody and like calling out people, doing finger guns. 'Cause
Finger
apparently,
guns.
yeah, just like a. Yeah.
I would like to think that since I've attuned to the ring, that there are just cats greeting me at the entrance.
Yeah, so sort of as you're pulling into the city, I will say, go ahead and give me a perception check, Minnow. And regardless of the result that you get on this, you do notice that, like, from the alleys as you're getting into town, like, cats are just now, like, moving out and looking up at Catch.
Can Finch give me help?
Yes. Yes.
Nice.
You can have advantage as Finch is sort of circling above you, looking down.
Sorry, I accidentally clicked twice.
16 for the advantage on the first one. Yeah, it's interesting. At first, you're just like, okay, you know, let's look for the signs of someone tailing us or someone looking out for us. And you're not seeing any of that. But as you kind of are satisfied with that and pull back from that, things feel a little weird. Like, there's a tension in the air that feels to you almost like the feeling you would get before a job in your youth. Like, there's nervousness and fear and hyper alertness and just sort of this, like, restlessness. And you don't quite know what it means to get that feeling from a city. Because you're just kind of getting that from everyone generally. And as you're getting into town, Ketch, you're noticing that there are a lot more cats following you than usual. And you and Nero both notice that there are fewer people out and about than there would be normally. And Ketch, you particularly notice that the people who are out seem very alert.
I would definitely ask the cats. I would just, you know, kind of look at the cats and be like, hey, friends, where is everybody?
The cat's gonna sort of dismissively, keeping looking, like, intently at Ketch.
Did they say anything so that he can hear?
I think he has to cast the spell to communicate.
Yeah, I have to use a slot. Hold on. So,
I mean, Nero would talk to the cats regardless,
spend-
so.
And you're very confused because normally when you talk to, like, sometimes animals will just sort of like, you're like, yeah, whatever. But normally they're at least sort of interested that you're talking to them. These ones just like, following Ketch.
I'm gonna look at Ketch and be like, I think you've got some new friends.
Sorry, I was adding it into like my other resource because I have 3 slots in that. Is that correct?
Yes, it has 3 charges.
Okay, so, and if I'm reading it right, after blah blah blah. So if I use well, it says 3 charges and regains 1 D3 charge daily at dawn.
Yep.
What does that mean exactly?
You roll a d3 to see how many charges you get back.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, so because Nero and I have noticed that, you know, this is pretty sketchy. Like, there's like no people, they're like on guard, and there's a shit ton of cats at my feet. I will spend 1 to speak with the cats.
Cool. Yeah, you sort of focus on the ring and you cast Speak with Animals. And now suddenly the from behind you sort of switches into, it's so pretty. The ring.
It is, isn't it? And I will let you get closer if you can answer me. What the heck's going on?
3. Sorry.
Please tell us what everybody else hears.
I also like that I'm expecting now this ring is actually cursed, where she can cast to talk to cats, but all they're gonna do is be like, "That ring is real fucking cool, yo," and they won't say anything else.
Rachel.
I mean, the
stop.
ring of
No.
power was the cat's meow, so.
So the cats are like, the large noisy things are frightened. There are less of them, which is quite nice. Closer to the ring now? Closer.
Hold on. Hold on. How long has this been happening?
Incidentally, once again, you're you sort of see the cats look back and forth.
Do the cats give a sigh like that? I just want to hear like a cat sigh, like smoking a cigarette.
Vaguely like pre-hairball noise. They're sort of looking. Perhaps 10 days? Nights? Who knows? It's not important. The ring now? Closer?
That's close enough. Okay, you can come a little closer.
The cat is just gonna launch into your arms.
Oh, I'm totally gonna hold this little bitch.
There are about half a dozen cats, and they are now all leaping onto you.
Whoa, 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 whoa!
Did you?
Hey, this is just like home.
Catch, do you require assistance with this?
If any more jump on me, I think I might.
From our perspective, did we hear Ketch asking questions, or did we hear Ketch going meow meow? Okay.
Yeah, no. Most of that was actually what I was relating what you heard from Catch.
Okay, cool. So, hey, well, that was interesting, Ketch. Did you learn anything?
So I will like try and pry my head out, but so 10 days or nights or something, it's been like this.
Did they tell you why?
No.
And I'm gonna look at one of the cats and I'm gonna be like, "Do you know what day it is?"
I mean, there's people around, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's some people in the road.
Yeah. Is
Do I
there like
recognize anyone? Sorry, Elise, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
You're fine.
No one that you recognize right here.
Can I just catch a kid or someone walking by that doesn't look too suspicious?
Can I catch a child that doesn't look incredibly suspicious? Yes.
All kids are shifty as fuck.
You can. There's a couple of kids sort of playing, and you sort of beckon one over.
Hey, what's up?
Nothing. What do you want?
Can I sleight of hand a silver piece and just like play with it in my fingers?
Give me a sleight of hand check to see how successfully you do that.
Please. Can I get help from Finch?
I can prestidigitate for you.
I don't think you can really get help from your bird unless you're trying to less make this a sleight of hand and more like a performance.
I'll take sleight of hand, which is +6, and performance is +0.
That would be 19.
It's 19.
Very nice. So you sort of as you beckon this boy over, like just like this, then suddenly a coin sort of appears between your fingers and you're rolling it and walking it across your fingers. And he's like, "Oh, okay, yeah, okay. What how can I help you?"
Okay, I've heard that the kids of Tormanrile are some of the brightest, so I have a few questions for you, and if you answer me correctly, I'm going to give you this coin, okay?
Okay.
Okay, first was 7 + 4.
More than 7?
Yeah, that's technically
Can I
correct.
tell you how many children don't know that? Or you'll
That
be like,
was-
7 plus 4, and they'll do the calculation and be like, 6. And I'm like, how?
I don't know how old this
How
kid
did
is.
you get there?
Also, 7 plus 4 was the default math question in my household growing up. If my parents were like trying to like trick me or something and be like, what's 7 plus 4? So like that's why that one came to mind. I don't know why. Okay.
Why were your parents trying to trick you with math?
You know what? My parents were both engineers. There's a lot there. Okay, so I'm like, okay, I mean, technically you're not wrong. What day is it, including the month and the year?
These are strange questions.
Do you want this? Do you want this?
It's 1647, and it is the, let's see, it's the 16th day of the 10th month.
How does that
And
compare
what-
to what I expect?
The year is right, the month is right. It's about 6 days later than you think it should be.
So we're 6 days younger than everyone else.
Bam! Catch was right.
Okay, last question. What's the name of the person? I don't know. What is there a mayor or a who would be in charge of Tormanrile?
Oh, yeah, there is a mayor. There's a Lord Mayor of Tormanrile.
Okay. The name. What's the name of the Lord Mayor?
Redcraft?
I flip him the coin. I have no idea if that's true.
It is, in fact, true.
Great. I guess Minna would know.
Minnow absolutely knows, and that is correct. He's like, oh, thank you. And sort of as you do this, you now see a pair of adults who are talking off to the side, and you oh, come here. And he's going to sort of, it seems like it's his father, and he's going to beckon the boy over and is like looking at you, and then they sort of slowly move away.
I elbow Nero and I'm like, ask what they're up. Do your thing. Do your charm thing. Talk to him.
So Nero's gonna.
I have charm person too.
I'm a walking charm person, you know.
Am I still
half-burnt
completely
cow
covered
man.
in cats?
Oh, yeah, no, you're just like, they're like, I feel like a couple more have since added on from the back. So there are now just like 8 cats sort of holding on to you by your armor.
Shall I help pry them off?
Just a minute.
So Nero, you
I would definitely walk after the boy and kind of walk up and be like, "Hello, townspeople," and because that's a normal way to greet people.
What?
And I would walk out with my hand outstretched.
What do you?
I'm Nero. I'm Nero.
I'm Thompson.
Seems like her. Wait, no. What would Nero do? What about your boy here? Totally normal, not awkward question.
How much does he cost?
I was gonna say, Jonas.
Jonas, does he have any brothers? No, I'm sorry. Okay.
Because
So
I'm a
fucking
sucker for
stupid.
you.
So, what do you do here? Whatever the fuck he said his name is that I already forgot.
Thompson, I'm a porter. Look, there's a lot of
How's business for you as a porter?
kind of fucking awful right now, what with all the disappearances and people being really freaked out. Why are you asking?
Oh, because of that. That is important. The disappearances. Could you elaborate on that for me?
Last, I don't know, 10 days? People just keep disappearing. It was just a couple at first, no one thought much of it. Not until one of the folks up in the castle district just went and disappeared.
Just one at a time, or in groups?
No, it started, it's hard to tell. I mean, people disappear, right? People disappear from the docks district. People disappear from the merchants, and God knows how many people disappear from the outer wards. But it looks like it feels like it's getting faster. Like there's more and more disappearing.
Has there been any... No, that might be a strange question. And I'm going to say all this out loud, for sure.
These are all strange questions. Jonas, what did that lady ask you? What year it was? That's weird.
Hey, your kid's pretty smart.
Thank you?
Is there a place where these disappearances are localized that we could... again, I'm Nero, member of the Marauders. You might have heard of us. We're here to help, but we need information. That's why you get all the weirdness. I'm usually not weird. I'm usually very normal. But right now, all my questions are going to seem weird. We fought a troll back there that was dead in time. It was strange. So I don't know if there's time things going on here. Have you noticed any time skips? That's why she asked about the year. If you had heard of that. What day is it? What day do you think it is? I think it's insert day here.
I like that you're just dropping all of this on this porter. Who's like, the fuck? It's the 16th. What I heard, the first people to go were from the docks district, and that still got the most gone, but it's everywhere now. Look, I appreciate it if you're actually here to help, but I don't want any involvement with this. I'm going to take my boy and his new silver piece, which is hopefully not some form of cursed item that will suck him through a time portal or whatever it is you're saying.
Does Minnow just say that from behind?
Yeah.
Look, she's just a little on edge. Don't mind her. It's real though, I promise. So, I know you want to leave, and that's fine and good. You can go in a second. Do you have any names of people that have gone or places in particular?
No, I don't know any names. There was some ruckus, some rich family up in the castle district. Their daughter disappeared. That was when people started giving a shit. But I don't know. I don't know. You'd have to ask over that way. Look. I need to go. That she's asking weird questions. You just said that there's time stuff and trolls, and also there's just like a ball of cats behind you, and it's all just a bit much. And he's just going to back away, and sort of as he says this, you look back over your shoulder, and Ketch is becoming nearly spherical. With just cats sort of padding out his body.
Hey, Ketch, if you take the ring off, do the cats leave?
But why would she want to do that?
I don't know. Well, hold on. And as I say hold on, I'm gonna do this like shake and try and shake them off.
Give me an athletics check.
Why would someone have had the cats meow in the basement of a building?
Oh my god, a nat 20.
They all go flying.
So you hear just, give me a second. And you sort of see Ketch like crouch down. And then you just sort of hear, meow, meow, meow. And about a dozen cats just get ballistically launched away from Ketch.
I believe the word is yeeted.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think of that as having a more throwing action, but this is more just...
No, she yeeted the cats. Just admit it. Go away.
I was more going to go this was like a cat bomb just went off. So it's just sort of like, you, like as you're looking on, Minnow, you see a cat sort of go and land on a roof near you. skitter
I think
away.
one of them should hit the guy in the back of the head as he's walking away.
Well, just one like arcs over, and you see, this is what I was talking about. It's too much. It's too much.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. And no, I don't think. Wait, so real quick, the table talk here for a second. Because I read about the ring and that it says that if I take it off, it does not matter. I have to like be decursed. Would that be something I would have known during the attunement phase?
By having attuned to it, you now know that.
Okay, so then my next question is, because when Dent had the ring like just kind of like tucked away in his pocket, I didn't really like go crazy over it. But the moment it was brought out, my tail started going all wishy-washy. So if it's covered, does that like, I don't know, nullify the effect that it has on the cats? Because the cats did say, "Ooh, it's so shiny."
It might help mitigate it, but also Dent wasn't even attuned to it yet. And it still kind of drew your attention. But you do think that at the very least, based on what you experienced with it, in as much as tabaxi are cats, it would help. It might prevent you from repeatedly becoming just an orb of cats.
So I'm also going to attempt to convince the cats to leave Ketch alone.
With the 24 athletics and the fact that he got a lot of distance on those cats, they've decided
around him right now.
They've decided that they've had enough and sort of kept moving away.
So
they also mostly got some good quality time.
No, taking the ring off isn't going to help. It's a pretty cool ring. Like, I feel like I got a lot of information, and it did kind of make me feel like home. But has anyone got any cloth or leather?
I probably would.
Yeah, Dylan will also like hand you like a small like handkerchief, basically equivalent.
Then I would take that and I would kind of like wrap my hand. Be like, okay, I think that'll do it.
You kind of see a cat on the far distance, sort of like look at you and stare for a second, and then sort of wander away.
I kind of go over to Nero and I kind of grab on your arm and like I start. In this moment, I'm looking like a kid that needs to pee is about to pee their pants.
That needs to pee their pants.
But like, not in a this is funny, like I'm actually like kind of scared way. Didn't that guy say that a bunch of people from the docks district vanished? Because that's the only place that I really know people.
Yeah, he said the docks district is where most of them vanished, but they've even gone in the castle district too. Are you worried about your friends?
I mean, I don't know how I'm gonna get more fishing gear if all of my fishing gear people just vanished. This is important.
It's true, but thankfully your fishing gear is currently in good condition, so you should be safe for a while. Also, Dent, generally, and I know you're new to this, but generally, when people disappear, you show empathy and worry for the people before your own situation. It makes people feel more comfortable, because otherwise they could think that you're maybe a soulless robot, and we know that you're not. So maybe first say, I hope the people are okay, and also I'd really like my fishing gear to be safe as well.
Okay, I'll try this empathy thing. It seems really bad that people are vanishing. And also the longevity of my ability to fish is being threatened. So can we go to the docks district, please?
As you sort of say that, and you're focused really strongly internally and sort of like, okay, so this is what I need to do, and like this is what I'm supposed to do. Suddenly you, Dent, hear deep in your mind a voice speaking. Primary detected. Initiate support integration. Process failed.
Fucking robot.
Exterminate.
That
You've never-
was, and I quote, primary detected, initiate support process.
Initiate
failed?
support integration. Process failed.
And this is like a monotone, robotic kind of voice.
It was very monotone.
Does
Flat.
this happen right after he tried his empathy, and does he kind of like freeze and go blank, or is it noticeable at all? Since we can't hear it.
It is directly after the. Yeah, it's after he said what he said to you all. I don't know how he would have reacted, and Dent, this felt like someone speaking in your head. Like, this felt like, and you've probably experienced this somewhat, especially on your adventures, etc. This felt like telepathy.
Okay, but it wasn't. This voice was not emanating from me. It
Yes.
was just in my head.
It was in your head, and it was like speaking to you at a deep level, but it was not you. At least the way it felt to you. You've never heard that kind of voice before, but it did feel like weirdly warm, like soothing to you.
I also just really quickly want to say that because I don't know any of this is going on, I would be responding to his empathy attempts and continually giving him pointers, even though he's obviously not being receptive. I would just kind of keep going on and giving him pointers about how he could improve upon what he said. And yeah.
So as I'm getting my ethics and morality lesson, does this voice, does it resemble the voice from Amberheart when I had that vision?
It evokes a similar emotion in you, or like that feeling of warmth, but it is a very dissimilar voice. The other voice had lots of intonation and also clearly seemed to be speaking from outside of you. Like it felt like you were physically hearing that voice in your memory as opposed to something talking in your head.
So guys, you know how we all have, I'm purposefully not
you to say this, or
I'm purposefully not trying to cut off this lesson, but you know how we all have like voices in our heads that like guide us, right? Like,
no.
Like thinking?
yes, that one.
Nero.
An internal. I believe the phrase is internal monologue.
Oh yeah, mine sings.
It's just pictures in here.
I was gonna say, I imagine Nero. It's like leaves blowing in the wind.
It's a pop-up picture book.
Okay, well, yeah, I think I had someone else's voice in my head, but not in the way that I'm just thinking about them. I think someone put a thought in my helmet.
Is
Like
that
a message?
pop-
At that, Ketch is gonna like jump up and try and look at the back of your head and see if I can see like an entry point.
And it said a bunch of words.
You're going to see Nero start to really concentrate, and he's going to be trying to send you a picture of like a flowing river. Like he's just going to be like, can you see what I am sending you in your head right now?
Meanwhile,
Can we do messages this way?
Minnow is going to cast the cantrip message
Jesus.
and say, did it sound kind of like this in your head?
Did it?
It sounded. I'm trying to think of what I want you to roll for this. Give me
Me
a-
or Minnow?
You, Dent. Give me a wisdom roll. Just straight wisdom. I also have something to say to you, Ketch, since you jumped up to try to look at the back of his helmet.
Does he see my flowing river in his mind?
An unnatural 1.
Oh no, a 1 and a 2.
Oh, because you have negative.
At least it was an unnatural 1. Okay. Dent, yes and no, but you can't quite figure out what the difference is. Does that make sense? Like it feels similar, but there are differences and you can't figure out what those are. Also, you're pretty sure that Nero is really, really, really wanting you to give him a fish. And that's why he's staring at you so intently. Ketch, you sort of jump up to look at the back of Dent's helmet to see if there's like a little hole. And there isn't, but along sort of the back and his shoulders where previously had been his dent, the piece of design work that had emerged there of a hand was glowing faintly. And then that glow is like fading away rapidly.
Dude, I'm gonna like bang on him. Dent, your back is glowing.
Is this a euphemism?
No. Wait, what's euphemism? No, it's not. It's not. Maybe.
Okay.
No, maybe.
Is the hand like the shadow hand symbol?
No, it doesn't have like those long, wavy fingers, which is kind of the key design. It is dark, but most of the sort of patterns on Dent are darker on the metal, and it's a quite clearly defined like hand. Nope, my camera's there.
So,
if I want to center it, I do this.
So I might be experiencing what is known as cognitive dissonance.
Are you sure it's not gas?
Yes. because Minnow, whatever you just did there, it both simultaneously sounded like and did not sound like what just went on in my head. Which, by the way, not that I can make any sense of this whatsoever, but the phrase was primary detected initiate support integration process failed.
That sounds a lot like gas.
Nero's gonna make just like a puff of air come from like the area that Ketch is looking at from Dent's suit, just kind of like right to her.
I'm gonna hand you a fish.
Dude, did you just fart on me?
Thank you.
Can suits of metal fart?
Can suits of metal walk around and talk?
Yes.
Ressa, Delvin is going to walk up behind you and sort of tug at your sleeve. This entire experience has been fascinating, and at this point I filled 4 pages of notes. But, should we perhaps get to an inn and discuss our next course of action?
Oh yeah, you're still here.
Mass disappearances in town don't sound promising, and also, apparently it was option 1, since those dates don't line up with when it should be. Unless this is a very elaborate trick by the Shadow Hand. Oh god.
Ketch again is going to be like, I knew it! Called it. I told you I called it. I knew it.
Well, I think it probably is a good idea for us to get somewhere and figure out what we're going to do. It's probably all connected. That's my feeling. But,
So where would you like to head? Like I said, you can see the various inns that you're most familiar with on the map.
I know some people at the Wandering Halfling if we want to check it out.
I'm okay with the Wandering Halfling. I think the Light in the Dark is possibly a good call for us since...
Oh yeah, I should check in on Steve's wife and kids.
Yeah.
Oh, is he the one that's married to Sally? Or wait, is Sally his child?
Sally is his wife, though sometimes Steve's a little strange, but
You
it's
are
okay.
just
He's a nice
so
guy.
precious and trusting. Minnow
Thank
says that out
you,
loud.
Minnow.
um,
That's so kind of you.
I'm not necessarily like I would go either way, but I think the light and the dark might be a good choice for us if we're trying to keep an eye on things. It also, I mean, honestly, I feel like no matter where we go, the shadow hand is. I feel like we need a code word for them so people don't know we're talking about them.
Pineapples.
Lightfoot.
Pineapple light feet. The pineapple light feet will know that we're here no matter what. So, but they'll definitely have a presence in some way at the light and the dark, which we might be able to use to our advantage, or it might get us in trouble. I don't know.
We might get skinned the moment we walk in there.
We might get skinned the minute we walk in any of these inns. I mean, I think if the Pineapple
won't-
Express
Who's
has
gonna skin us?
I won't.
Somebody
Nobody.
want my burned flesh?
No, but look
This
at
is
my
true.
fur. My fur would make a great. Never mind.
at least one of us can definitely not be skinned. I don't know. I mean, I just don't think that it's viable for us to not be noticed at this point.
I like the idea of the light and the dark, or even the tattooed turtle. Dent, you wanted to go more toward the docks. Both of those are down that way, or up that way. So either one of those, I think.
And Nero, you can still tap your contacts at the Wandering Halfling without us staying there.
I mean, I have contacts everywhere because everyone talks to me, so it'll be fine.
And I'm sure Steve really has a lot to say.
Do you know Steve too?
No. I know Steve exactly as well as you do.
Really? Or that? Okay. I'm glad he's such a friendly guy.
Yeah.
So okay, all right, so y'all want to go to the light and the dark, which is where the shadow hand, the pineapple lightfoot hang out. And
No, it's not that they hang out there. I'm sure that they have a base of
That, like,
operations.
Gordon Lightfoot's brother, or is it...
pineapple, it's a safe word.
I don't think they hang out there. I don't think it's their base of operations or anything. But I think that it is likely that people who are associated with them would be there, and if they were keeping scouts looking out for us in the city, there would definitely be one there because it's a place where folks like that hang out.
So, okay, run with me for a second. They would definitely be there, so we should go there?
Maybe
Has
not.
a point.
Yes, I hear the point. My point is we're going to be discovered no matter where we go. I don't think that we can hide. We walked into the city not trying to be disguised, knowing they were looking for us.
So you're saying we walk into the pineapple's den?
Oh my God. No. If we were walking into the pineapple den, we'd be going to the southern ward where we know from our friend Dent that they definitely have a den.
Dent is going to begin to walk towards the docks district.
I'm just going to follow.
Me too.
Dent, part of being okay. And I'll just follow along behind.
As he's walking away, I'm like banging my helmet a little bit to try to like figure out what the heck was going on in my head. Like, was it just a glitch in the system, or like, I don't know.
I do like that your
Glitch in the
audio
Matrix.
fragmented on the word like system in glitch in the system. It was like glitch in the system. Like, yes, very good audio. Thank you.
I guess my final question
Mhm.
about the voice in my head, could I tell, like, did it sound like there was a was it effeminate? Was it like a masculine kind of voice, or was it just like kind of an a-gendered anything voice?
It was very agender, very atonal. It was just this sort of monotone delivery. You didn't. The main thing that would be noticeable about it was how little there was to sort of describe of it, if that makes sense. So yeah, you're walking along and you're getting towards the docks district. You're passing this sort of small green, public green. Dent, give me a perception check. Actually, Dent and Minnow, give me perception checks. Minnow.
I was also going to ask if I could look around to see if anybody that I know is around.
Okay. Dent, give me a perception check. Minnow, give me a perception check with advantage because I assume that you have Finch helping. And Nero, give me a perception check.
Question about guidance. Is that a thing that's happening?
I don't know that anyone
She
has
doesn't
it
know
as
you're
a
looking
cantrip.
around, so.
Well,
okay.
I can.
I think it's more for like active things that you're.
Or requesting it beforehand. Okay, so 24 for Minnow, 11 for Nero, 7 for Dent.
That tracks.
Minnow, 24. People are very nervous, especially as you get deeper into the docks district. You are seeing outright, like, people openly carrying weapons. Not necessarily drawn, but like sword belts, crossbows in hand. It seems like that, and there's also an increased guard presence. You've passed now like 5 patrols going at this, which is much higher than you would normally expect to. And that's actually a little reassuring because it will make it a little bit harder for groups like the Shadow Hand to be acting really overtly. Nero, you're not seeing many people that you recognize, though you do succeed. Give me a persuasion check. 8. You do succeed in making 2 new friends, one of which is a squirrel. As you're
His
walking.
name is Stanley.
Okay, Stanley the squirrel. Dent, very faintly in your mind, as you get sort of to this edge of the park, you hear, reinitiate support protocol. Process failed.
Guys, it's happening again.
Following him, can we see?
Yeah,
it
I would look
glowing?
on at his back again.
More faintly than last time, you can see that again, that hand symbol glowing slightly.
Do we think it's because we're in the city? This is happening because we're in the city? Like, are we close to where you're from?
Have we ever discussed, like, where, like, the handprint on him?
What handprint?
Then, dude, like, there's this handprint on your back. That's what's glowing. How have we,
Does
like...
anybody have a looking glass? For
I
Is
mean,
is it bigger than my hand? Smaller?
It's
Go away.
smaller.
It's
Can you-
smaller.
Here, give me your hand and I'll help you touch it so you can feel it. And I kind of guide his hand back to where it is so that his fingers can feel it.
Is he flexible? Like, can he do the?
No, I think he
No,
just took his hand off.
I just disconnected my my hand.
That's amazing.
So there's now just a suit of armor, like ending in a cuff.
You literally gave Minnow your hand. She's like,
so you sort of touch the area. You don't get a lot of perception, like, out of the pieces of the armor per se, especially when they're separated from you. You don't, but you also don't feel anything in particular. Yeah, it's it is where your dent used to be, which
I've always wanted to scratch right there.
Which went away, and the designs, the more noticeable patterns on your armor came when you touched the crystal in the caverns.
Well, I'm not getting a great feeling about this, but this time it said reinitiate support protocol process failed.
Wait, you're supportive? I don't think anything's failed. I think that voice in your head has failed.
is the support protocol something outside of you trying to support you, or something that you're supposed to be supporting?
Well,
What's
every
the
time it's
protocol?
happening,
Do you need to plug in somewhere?
What's a plug?
I look over my body real fast to see if there's something I should plug in.
Nero just sticks his
Process
finger in a
failed.
hole. No.
Ressa, give me a wisdom check with proficiency. So you can use any, if you have a skill that works for that, that's fine.
Okay, I'm not sure how. I mean, I know how to do a.
You can also just roll
Any
wisdom.
skill that you're proficient in that utilizes wisdom, you can just click
Like
that. and it would be the same
perception,
thing,
insight.
if you have any wisdom proficiencies. Otherwise, just roll wisdom and then
Yeah.
add your
No,
proficiency
I
manually.
do. So, there we go. Sorry, I just got lost on my page for a sec.
I understand.
Oh,
12. You're thinking about this, and you're thinking about this in the way that you think about magical items as a crafter. And some of what Dent is describing, and the fact that this time you were behind him and you could see this thing activate, or the sort of the handprint flare up, and what he's told you a little bit with, like, the dent sort of repairing itself, these patterns appearing. And very much to that question that was just asked of, like, is this a thing that is trying to support you or a thing that you're trying to support? This feels to you like something trying to support Dent. This feels like something is not trying to activate Dent, but that is trying to sort of activate for Dent. And you also wonder, given the fact that this hand is lighting up, if one of the reasons that this is happening now is that these patterns have appeared, and some of these abilities seem to be coming back. And if maybe that's why this has never happened before. It also may have something to do with proximity. It's hard to tell.
I will definitely pass all that along. And you said, does the voice sound... You said it's robotic, but do you get a bad feeling from it, or?
It feels like even though it's, completely a shapeless voice, like it still has a warmth to it. But I know it's conflicted, but I don't know.
Warmth doesn't need to have a shape.
Incidentally,
I
Nero,
guess that's true.
are you just carrying that fish that he gave you?
Sure, I am.
Okay, cool. Just want to make sure.
It's in my
all right.
hand.
So you are
I
now.
would also say, as we're walking right where we are right now with the tattooed turtle, I would kind of want to stop us. And I would say, okay, hear me out. I realize that we can go into the pineapple's den if we need to. But I feel like maybe we could stop at the tattooed turtle first. Find out about who's missing from the docks. Find out some information before we go further into,
We also need to go to wherever Dellen's people are supposed to be at some point.
Dellen's
Soon.
fine with this, aren't you, Dellen? And I kind of lightly punch him on the shoulder.
Ow.
And before Dallin even has a chance to respond, I'm just gonna go like, all right, I need to go find Martin the Fisher.
Dent, we need to try and stick together, please. At least for the moment, it's dangerous.
Wait,
split up.
fish? I'm kind of hungry.
Nero
What's
just tosses,
this stick
tosses the fish
together
to Kent.
nonsense? Divide and conquer, Let's just, how about we've got, 5, 6 people, including Dellen. We can go 6 places.
And all disappear.
I would rather prefer to be guarded. It is a large part of why I retained your services.
And he is incompetent.
Okay, fine. You stick with me, and we'll be fine. I can give you a full body armor made of cats.
So as you say this, you also see Dellen looking squarely at your chest, where there are these deep gouges in the leather armor where the cats were just holding on with their claws, and you see him look at your armor, look down at his very not armor robes, back up. I don't think that will go as well for me as it did for you.
Oh, this? Oh, no, this is. Damn, that's actually pretty deep.
No, this is nothing. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. It's
We'll take care of you,
fine.
Dellen.
So, Minnow, can we please stick together for the time being? Don't go into the pineapple's den alone.
I am not going to go
We're
into
a
Pineapple's Den
team.
alone. I know better than to split the party. Who would do that? God.
Pineapple.
Is Minnow just gonna do it just to take it out on me and Sam?
Yes. And a little bit on Galway, who gets a lot of pleasure.
Wait a second.
As your
What about
GM.
Heather and I, who are completely innocent?
Collateral
and did
damage.
None of this.
No one has
Collateral
ever
damage.
described you as innocent, Chris.
How the fuck do you know how people describe me, Rachel?
I've read the tell-all
Listen.
book.
Watch, we know.
But also when Ketch
Wow, I
asks
didn't know
about
this
fish,
party had so much beef.
when Ketch asks about fish, I'm just gonna unthinkingly just toss the fish that Dent gave me in his direction.
And without hesitation, he will
But-
snatch it out of the air and just look at it and then take a bite out of it.
We're a team.
Yes, and sometimes teams split up and go to different parts of the city and require the GM to prepare for different counters.
There's
And Nero
way too much
says,
salt in
Elise,
this campaign.
let it go.
Who is this Elise of which you speak?
The voice of God. Minnow's like, what? Suddenly I feel chastised and immature.
I feel like this might be a helpful goat record for amount of time to a fourth wall break.
Sorry. All right. We're on track. We're focused.
So, do you want to go into the tattooed turtle or continue on to the light in the dark?
I'm gonna turn towards the tattooed turtle, and just me being the trusting, stupid cowman that I am, I'm going to just assume that everybody's following behind.
I am totally heading to McKeck's estranged cousin's place.
I will follow.
That is literally the exact same thought that I had. The
Is the
tattooed turtle.
tattooed turtle a member of the like Better Business Bureau of the small business owners of Tormanrile, or?
No. This one is actually... So, all of my inns and taverns are references to past campaigns. This is actually a reference to Fates of Rin, not to McKeck.
Actually, I'm going to consult the party on this, but this is a legitimate idea, okay? Before we go in, we know that Arden, my spouse, was visited by someone from the Shadow Hand. We know that I'm a target. I know how to make myself look like other people. What if I look like them and go over to the Light in the Dark and ask around a little bit, because people would know that I am connected, like Minnow and Arden are connected, and Arden might come and sniffing around if they thought Minnow was in trouble.
You know, I can also make myself look like other people. Do you think that I could convincingly be a pineapple person?
No.
Guys, we're in Tormanrile, the fishing capital. Please. I'm begging you.
Dent, people are missing. We have a job. You get rewards when the job is complete.
We don't know. Maybe one of
Dylan's our
those missing
job.
people is my fishing hookup.
What if the
So
fish are
fishing
missing
won't
too?
make them come back faster.
You don't know. What kind of bait is he using?
But there are so many fish in the sea.
This isn't the sea, is it?
So, how do we feel about me going as Arden to the Light in the Dark?
I think that makes you a target just as much as if you went by yourself. Quite possibly.
What if you came to the tattooed turtle with us first, and then you went there later? That way you could be a part of our original reconnaissance.
Let's do it. Let's go.
And if you felt like you'd be more comfortable with me going with you, also disguised.
That's true. Also, I mean, Arden said that the person who came to our house could have attacked them, but very much didn't. Seemed to have no interest. And our friend Dylan here says that the pineapple lightfoots don't really care about people as much as they care about their business. So I feel like if Arden got the pass the first time, they may get past the second time too.
I also think that if we all are sticking together, it makes for quite the large and obvious target.
Right, but that's why I'm thinking I don't go as Minnow, because Minnow is very much on the top of the wanted list. Right? Am I misunderstanding?
Yeah. I mean, I was just saying it sounded like everyone was trying to go to the tattooed turtle. Everyone excluding me.
So splitting up, you're saying, might actually make us less of a target right now.
Yes.
But we're pretty sure we're already seen. And splitting up is just going to make us easier targets to get in dark alleyways.
Well, wait. Oh, okay. But like, we're not gonna go in a dark alleyway, right? I mean, are we?
I mean, you have to walk by them in the city. It's a part of.
And so the letter that we found specifically talked about the five of us. The way we look, the way we fight, our attributes. So all of us, even if little Miss Minnow over here decides that she's going to look like somebody else, the rest of us four still look like us.
Yes, that is true. I'm not trying to get myself out of trouble and leave you in it. I'm just trying to say, like, that might be a good way for us to get info without it being us getting info.
So and if we all go into the tattooed turtle and then you go out as someone else, then, the group is still there.
Sure
But should she go alone? Not saying you're not capable. I definitely think you're totally capable. I'm just afraid of...
We could look like the dead people that we saw.
They were pretty decayed corpses. I'm not sure how that would work.
How much decay really happens in a week?
The skin is green and then begins to turn red as the blood vessels decay and the proteins and
So
blood
I
break
can
down.
see like facial structure and then just
swelling.
change
It's bloated.
I was gonna say lots of bloating and swelling.
Fine. I mean, if we have solid plans where we want to split up for a short period of time and reconvene, I wouldn't be against that. But I would find it hard to take if some of us wanted to split off for personal entertainment or gain. Not you, Minnow. I would find that difficult in this time, and as Dellen reminded us, we are in his service right now, and if we want our name as the Marauders to mean something, then it's also important to not go back on a contract. So I agree that I think that Minnow has a good idea, but I don't know that we should fracture the party any more than that. Because as you said, like, yes, we're noticeable, but then we can assume we've already been noticed. And if we split up further, I feel it just makes us easier targets.
No, could you give me a quick perception check?
Who?
Me?
Minnow.
Sure, with help.
Not in this case.
Okay.
Is this going to be a Galway throws zombies at us because we talked for too long?
Zombies.
24.
As you're sitting there and you're sort of debating this in this circle, you notice that Dellen, who has gotten very accustomed to being told to go away, has just wandered into the tattooed turtle.
Oh, well,
like,
Dellen went inside, so I guess we should at least follow for now. Make sure he's fine.
It can't hurt to go in and get a room. And then we at least have somewhere where we can talk in private and not be out in the middle of all this.
Okay, let's do it.
You head inside and you're greeted by an interior that is dimly lit at all times. And there are heavy, thick rugs and wall hangings, all of which are designed to muffle sound. The owner and the staff are all armed at all times because this is an inn and tavern on the docks. And there are not violent scuffles in the Turtle, at least that last for longer than a couple of seconds until a waiter clubs someone. The innkeeper many of you know, is Vitan, a short half-orc man. He is always willing to buy items with no questions asked, though usually for a steep discount, and he doesn't really negotiate. And you see him, like, slamming a tankard of ale down in front of Dellen, who is now, like, sitting on a bar stool, sort of, like, bouncing happily, looking very happy to be off his feet and being offered a drink. And I think that is where we will wrap up for tonight. With you all having gotten inside the tattooed turtle, Dellen not having entirely disappeared, and with some fun new things to think about, like what the hell's talking inside Dent's head. Thank you so much, everyone. Cats. Yes. Also, I have renamed the, like, suspicious building to the Pineapple's Den. Because there doesn't seem to be any point in not naming it that.
Love it.
Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in tonight. If you have enjoyed this, give us a follow here on Twitch. You can also follow us on Twitter at HelpfulGoat. You can also use the !Discord command and join us in our Discord, where we chat about games, hang out, and also talk about upcoming programming. And where you can have a hand in voting for upcoming programming, like what's the next topic of Goat's Eye View. So those are all types of things. We have a really great community. It's a really lovely community that adds a lot of joy, for example, to my life. I just did a birthday stream, which was a lot of fun. So you can join us there. You can follow us on Twitter. You can follow us on Instagram. We're also at Helpful Goat. You can check out our archives either here on Twitch for a couple of weeks before they take them down, or over at YouTube where we're Helpful Goat Gaming. For everyone at Helpful Goat Gaming, enormous thank you to the players who made this very entertaining and managed to once again have a safe word be pineapples.
You're
This is
welcome.
like the third time this has happened on a Helpful Goat stream. For making this a wonderful evening, and thank you so much for tuning in. Be safe, be well, and have a wonderful night.